Hey, what is up, YouTube? We got another story today because the story I posted yesterday got a lot of support, so I thought I'd just bring you another one. So the first thing I'd like to say is I did this gameplay a little earlier today on free-for-all, and what I want you to do is I just want you to keep a close attention look at the score the entire time, because I want you to know that this is the most exciting game that I've ever had until the very end, which is the most raging game I ever had when you look at the score at the very end. So, but again, it's not about the gameplay. Today's commentary was about the few days, actually, I went camping, back in, year 2010 with, my dad and my dad's friend and his sons. So, this was up, like, by Bodega Bay, but not on, because if you don't know where that is, it's just a beach up in Northern California. It's by it in the mountains. And so basically what happened was we went there and we started walking on a trail. Now it was supposed to be a very easy 2-mile hike because in '09 we had a 7-mile hike. So I was like, piece of cake. So we do the first part of the trail, which ends up taking us maybe 30-45 minutes. It wasn't hard at all. But again, we had everything that would support us and, you know, let us live on our backs in hiking backpacks. Alright, so then at one point the trail ended, and we find ourselves in front of this huge ass rock mass. That rhymed. But there was this massive rock mass, and it was just sharp rocks, huge. And it was like a mountain. It was so high, and I realized that, you know, to get to our campsite, we would have to climb this. And two problems. There's no trail, and we didn't have any rock climbing gear. Now, we didn't necessarily need rock climbing gear because it wasn't a 90-degree mountain. It was slanted, so we could just, you know, kind of rock climb up just by grabbing the rocks and slant and put our feet between the cracks. So, basically, under the rocks was a mountain. So, it was like a mountain covered in rocks. That's why it was so high. So, we're just like, you know what the hell, why not? We need to get to our campsite. So, we started, excuse me, we started, you know, climbing up. And now a 2-mile hike became hell. We had to walk a mile high, like slanted, and we were just climbing, and we almost ran out of water at the very end. So we were very conservative with water. I was super thirsty, and since it was there was a waterfall going down the right of us, but the water was disgusting and like covered in leeches, and so we couldn't drink that. So we just kept walking up, and there was a certain point where the mountain became 90 degrees for about 10 feet high, then it got slanted again. And a few people went, and they did fine. Then I went. And ladies and gentlemen, this was probably one of the scariest moments in my life. I went in there, and halfway up, so about 5 feet tall, my grip slipped off this 90-degree thing. I was rolling down the mountain, getting hit by jagged rocks in my face and in my arms. And I would have rolled all the way down and possibly died if this next part didn't happen. So basically, on the way down, there was a plant coming out in between the dirt and between two rocks. And while I was rolling down, I grabbed this, and then it stopped me from rolling. And then I threw my other hand up, and I grabbed the rock, and then the root ripped out of the ground. Just in time, I got hold of the rock. Otherwise, I would have rolled all the way down the mountain. And it's this stupid campsite's fault for not having a freaking trail. All there was to help us lead us to our campsite was some spray-painted arrows onto rocks while we were going up. It sucked. So yeah, we ended up, that was like the climax of it when I almost died. But then I kept on, you know, climbing. And every time, you know, where like every time you think you're gonna hit the top, but really you don't really, like, there's just more mass over it. So we ended up walking for like 6-7 hours that day up this mountain. It was hell. It was so hard. And our backpacks were so heavy, carrying all our food and everything. And that's another reason why I kept rolling for so much while I was going down, is that the reason was that because of my back, and it had so much weight on it. And my dad, these backpacks are huge. If they didn't have all that padding on them, like, I'd probably bruise my shoulders. But yeah, so anyway, we ended up climbing up after I fell on the climax, and we finally got to the top. And I was like, finally, now where the hell is our campsite? So there, and then our parents were like, it's another mile down this trail. And I was like, oh, hell to the no. I've just been climbing for 7 hours, and you were going to make me stop and go another to our campsite? No, we're setting up here. So we literally ripped the grass out of the ground, put down our tents on like dirt, and just jump in there and sleep until the next day when we did end up going to our campsite. Well, anyway, that's the whole story, guys. I do hope you enjoyed it. Please remember to like and favorite and subscribe. One Place for God, signing out. See you later.